Hey everybody, David here from LearnChristmasLighting.com. If you're looking to buy a controller for your Christmas lights, you might be looking at everything on the market and be like, okay, there are so many options of what to do and what controller to buy. How do I know which one's right for me and which one I need? I'm going to cover today's approach, both thinking about if you already got some controllers and if you're just buying new, though notably this is probably steered more towards people who are just starting out. When you're looking for a controller, there's a few types of controllers that you're going to see, okay? Most basically, you're going to see standalone controllers that are one piece. Okay, I've got an Advatech Pixelite 4 right here, nice and handy, not being used right now. And you're also going to find long-range style pixel controllers. Now, the difference between the two is pretty simple, and I think you'll see as I explain this how much of a benefit it can be to use a long-range controller. Now, just to start, if you've got a small display, for example, this Pixelite does 680 pixels times 4 outputs. And so that's going to be, 680 times 4, which is, if I can do math, 2,500 pixels, somewhere around there. The math nerds are probably people are going to type it out in the comments and whatever. But seriously, so I could do 2,000 pixels on this guy. If I've got a fairly small display within that range and I can start all of my pixels from within about 50 feet of each other, I can get by with just this Pixelite 4 all-in-one piece controller. But I also talked about long-range controllers. And one of the benefits of those comes with the fact that voltage drops, right? So there's two issues with using a Pixel controller like this that you can run into. The first is that voltage drops. So maybe you're providing 5 or 12 volt power through this power supply to your pixels, and that's going to work really great if the pixels are pretty close to here. But as they start to get spread out, you're going to get voltage drop, and you're going to have to add in more and more power. Additionally, if you get more than about 50 feet away from these on a pure data run, you're going to start to have issues with data. There's multiple ways to get around this, but the easiest way is to just use a controller that's designed for longer distances. So, as I've mentioned in other videos before, this can work for small displays, but I also don't love running all of my display's power through the controller. I think it really creates a weak point, and I've seen a lot of people have issues where they push a lot of power through these things, especially if they're doing mega trees and stuff like that, and then they have problems when this fries, it heats up, something gets loose, whatever happens, and they fry their controller. Now some of their biggest props don't work. So the long range type controllers solve that problem because they have two circuit boards. They have the brains of the operation that sit in a centralized location wherever you want to, and then they shoot out Cat cable, like Cat 5e or Cat 6 cable, to their receivers, which can be quite far away, up to 300 feet or more. And at the receiver, you actually have a board a lot like this, on a lot of these, that has 4 outputs, takes power in, has some, not breakers, but some fuses to be able to fuse that power. And the big benefit of that is not only that you can go long range, but if you have an issue, the power at the input heats up and fries the board, well, you just put in a different receiver. They're fairly inexpensive. It's easy to keep extras on hand. And all of the programming that the receiver gets is all based on where you plug it into the main. So you just literally swap it out quick and you're good. So I really recommend, if you're looking at controllers, to go with a long range option versus multiple smaller controllers. It's a lot easier to configure. And it's a lot simpler over the long haul, especially if you reconfigure things or whatever else. And I got to tell you, if you look at the cost of going a long-range controller versus a couple small controllers is literally the same or maybe even less. How cool is that? So it's really a no-brainer. Now, what brand of controllers should you buy? As I told you here, this is a Advatech Pixlite. Down here I've got a unit from Entech, a professional grade unit. I've got one on the wall as well. And Falcon controllers are really popular, and I'm going to be buying one myself soon in the Christmas lighting community. So what should you buy? Well, from everything I've read, everything I've seen, and what I look at, between Advatech and Falcon, the two really popular Christmas light ones, they're pretty evenly matched, and they're about the same cost. It seems that Falcon is more on board with the hobby and more on board with building a controller that's built just for this hobby. They have some various features like Ethernet pass-throughs, and they're building in more features into the controllers to make them more friendly with Christmas lighting than a Pixlite, which is kind of built for both the actual stage lighting pixel industry, where I came from and where I've spent a lot of my career, and the Christmas pixel industry. So I'm going to recommend Falcon controllers. I think they're really good, and they're all really priced about the same. Now, I mentioned Entech controllers as well. They're friends of mine, and I've got some of their controllers around here. I use them for professional stuff, and they're awesome bulletproof controllers, but they're a considerable amount more expensive. And I think these kind of hobby-grade controllers work great for Christmas lighting. Yeah, they don't come in a nice box. You have to add a power supply. You could get off the ground a little quicker with an Entech controller, and they can do more processing inside their brain. But at the end of the day, for Christmas lighting, probably going to go with a Falcon controller. So if you've enjoyed this and you want more info, I've got an article about choosing controllers over at learnchristmaslighting.com, and the link's below. Go check it out. Also, be sure to subscribe here, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.